Yo, what is up YouTube? It's your boy Legend and I'm back with another video. You already know what this is just by looking at the thumbnail. Now I'm sorry I haven't uploaded. Literally just got back from vacation. But I'm back and I'm giving you guys more content. If you like the video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe while you edit. But without further ado, let's get into this intro so we can start this what if. Alright guys, we currently start this episode off with Naruto, as he was currently resting in his old home in Rice Country that belonged to his father. Naruto opened his eyes and looked up at the gate that stood in front of him. A large eye then opened up as the massive fox then rose. And what do I owe? The pleasure of meeting my jailer. Naruto removed the blank mask that he wore and looked at the fox with a chilling gaze that reminded the being of Minato Namikaze. Let's make a deal. The fox rose a brow and tilted his head in amusement. And why should I make a deal with you? What is it that you have to offer me? I know what I have. I have a lot to offer. But you, on the other hand. Naruto said nothing, as he thought and then spoke. I want your cooperation. I don't take your chakra by force. And I don't want the malicious intent and harmful effects that come with it. We are at war, and there are people that I care about and want to protect them with everything that I have without putting them at risk. Yeah, I mastered your chakra, but not to the extent that I want to, meaning I can only go up to 5 tails without going insane. In return, this cage, this sewer, everything that makes this a prison will be gone. Besides, you don't want a weak host. And if your prediction of Sasuke does come true, wouldn't you want me to put him in his place, since he is an Uchiha? The fox then started to laugh. Kid, you are so naive. You are below me. If you want me to even consider this pathetic deal, you will have to beat me into submission. The fox then heard a ripping sound as he looked up to see Naruto had ripped off the seal. The fox rose an eyebrow as the gate slowly started to open, and 2 figures materialized next to Naruto, one redhead and one blonde. Chains then burst from the water and wrapped around the fox as a failsafe as Naruto turned and blinked. Mom? Dad? Naruto was then engulfed in something soft as he felt a pair of arms wrapped around him. My Naru-chan, you grew up so much. Look how big you are. Last time I've seen you, you were smaller than my forearm, you know? Naruto felt tears well up in his eyes as he wrapped his arms around Kushina. She had the same verbal tick as he did, though Danzo beat the verbal tick out of him by the time he was 11. The fox glared up at the fourth as it tried to lunge at him to no avail. You look angry at me, Kyuubi. The fox huffed and looked towards Naruto and Kushina. It's hard to move right now, so I won't bother with you. Minato laughed and landed on the head of the fox as he sat down. You know, I still have phantom pains from where you ran me through to prevent the ceiling. Both Minato and the Kyuubi laughed like they were old friends. You know, Fox, you're all talk and no bite. I sense no malicious intent from you. As far as I know, you're lazier than a Nara. All you do is sleep. You don't even talk unless spoken to. Do you really plan to fight my son? The fox huffed and said no, being the good half. The fox was rather chill. Minato then cut all the change as the fox stood to its full height and walked over. Kushina had a big grin on her face as she listened to him about his training in Fuinjutsu. He was currently at level 8 and soon to be wife was almost as good as him. She then flinched when he told her that he was wearing 365 pounds of gravity seals. Minato, hearing this, almost fainted. Having on that much weight wasn't normal at all. Naruto then started to tell them about how he was on the CRA and how he used to not know about females. Minato and Kushina started to laugh at him as they wiped away their tears. Naruto then showed Minato that he knew the Rasengan as Minato got a cheeky grin on his face. Meanwhile, the fox's left eye was twitching. While the three of them talked, they moved over and sat on his paw like it was some couch. He wanted them off. Kushina then jumped up onto the fox's head and started to scratch behind his ears. "And how's my Kurama-chan doing? You big goof, you know?" Naruto was confused. She was acting like they were old friends, and it confused him. Didn't he stab her? Kushina felt the look she was getting from Naruto. She could tell that he was confused. Mom, I thought you died due to being impaled by him." Kushina gave a dry chuckle and scratched the back of her head. "Well, you know, I was originally going to live through the extraction, but Kurama never hurt me. I died because of..." Meanwhile, with Sasuke, he walked into Mei's office and gave a loud whistle at her looks, causing Kojiro to glare at him. "Mizukage-sama, I'm Sasuke Uchiha, one of the last Uchiha alive, and I'll be acting as your bodyguard for the first shift." Mei smiled. She was about to speak but was cut off by Kojiro. "I want you to fight me. You won't be her bodyguard if you can't even beat me." Sasuke looked at him and activated his Sharingan as Kojiro collapsed. "Not much of a fight. You went down with only a look, and that wasn't even the Mangekyo." Mei was surprised. This man just made her usual guard look like a civilian with the ease that he defeated him with. But then again, he wasn't strong in Genjutsu. Mei continued to speak as she walked up to Sasuke. "I don't appreciate you doing that to my guard, but he also chose to challenge a strong and handsome young man as yourself. And I can tell you're strong. I can feel it in the depths of your reserves. I can tell you make most Jonin look like newly promoted Chunin that were freshly promoted. And I also like men that are hard to melt." Sasuke rose an eyebrow. She was blatantly flirting with him, but he wasn't feeding into it. He could tell that she was just trying to get a reaction. "Thank you for your compliment, Mizukage, but I prefer you only flirt if you're willing to act on it." Mei was surprised. She was expecting him to stammer or be embarrassed, but he was calm. She felt as though he was challenging her. She got dangerously close to him, and they were now high level. "You say I won't act on what I say. You brush me off and act as though you're not flustered, but I can easily change that." Mei now had a smirk on her face, not hearing an answer from the confident Uchiha. But he then did something unexpected. He grabbed her by her waist and kissed her. Mei's eyes widened. She wasn't expecting this at all. She was only teasing, trying to flaunt herself. To her surprise, he started to walk her backwards, sitting her on her desk as he deepened the kiss by forcing his tongue into her mouth. To her own surprise, she started to kiss back, rather enjoying herself. He then started to roam her body with his hands as he rubbed her curvy hips before his hand slipped up her top and started to grope and squeeze her bosom, getting a rather heated moan from her. To her displeasure, though, he stopped and started to walk away with a smirk on his face. Hey, what are you doing?" Sasuke stopped and looked at her. "You look like you need some time to collect yourself. I don't think you'd be able to do so if I were next to you right now." Sasuke then walked out of the office, leaving behind a panting and flushed Mizukage. Mei couldn't believe it. She was supposed to get him all flustered, but yet he toyed with her, and now she was the one that ended up flustered. It made her feel hot, but yet she was disappointed that he had stopped. She then remembered, Kojiro was still in the genjutsu. She quickly rushed over to him and released the genjutsu as he got up holding his head. Meanwhile, Naruto continued to run tree to tree. He was even more pissed off than before. After what he had heard, he needed to have a talk with Danzo. He was rapidly approaching the border of Rice Country. He started to call on his new friend's chakra as he was surrounded in a golden Hiyori with a seal on the front and megatomas on the back. His hair spiked up with two horn-like bangs, and his now blank mask got a golden look to it with a megatoma in the center of it. Naruto now shot through the trees like a flash, not as fast as the Hyroshin, but much faster than his full weighted speed, and much faster than his lightning cloak speed. If he kept this pace up, he could be in Earth Country in a matter of 7 hours, but he was sure Kurama would run out of energy in the next 5 minutes, but this was just so he could get used to the power. At the moment, he didn't care if he drew any attention. He was moving too fast to even be seen properly. The only one who could be able to see him would be Mondis. Even if he didn't like his would-be killer, he had to admit she was like the Hashirama of this time. He was positive she could outpace all the 5 Kage, even Danzo. And Danzo himself was an S-rank ninja with a handle with caution order. Same with the Mizukage. Time skip. It was now 10 hours later as Naruto stopped at a deep cliff. "Hey kid, how are you planning to get to the land of Earth from here?" The land of Bean Jam was scarred with war long ago from father and his brother, along with his mother. Then it was father's sons, and after the 2 founders, it was the Senju and Uchiha who fought here. So, this land has the deepest cliff going over 50,000 feet in a drop and stretches for as long as 40 miles. Naruto looked down, noting that what the fox said was true. "That's simple, Kurama. I don't know if you missed this, but when I was summoned to the land of Griffins, they made it clear that they did not like being summoned for aerial transport. So, they gave me this." Naruto pushed chakra into his summoning tattoo and was now holding a webbed flight suit. It was black with white accents, and while it was made from a water-resistant spandex, the wings were coated with a thin but sturdy and light metal. "I'm going to glide, Kurama." Naruto then released all 365 pounds of gravity on him as he stretched his limbs while putting on the suit. He then bent his knees and jumped, easily going over 60 feet into the air. He spread his arms and released the webbed appendages and began to glide through the air at high speed, using occasional wind chakra to propel himself forward and keep his momentum. Meanwhile, in Konoha, Jiraiya came through the door of Danzo's office. "Hokage, what are we going to do with Suna? They are currently without a Kage, and it would be easy for any other sister country to take control of the village." Danzo only nodded as he looked out of the window. "Are you saying that it would be child's play for the stone to gain more land and get more resources?" Jiraiya nodded. In all honesty, he was surprised that they didn't do that sooner. It's been less than a week, plenty of time to send a force there and take over everything. Danzo turned around and looked through a few files on his desk before picking up what he wanted. "Itachi Uchiha, former Leaf Ninja, now missing Nin, wanted for the slaughter of the entire Uchiha clan except for one, Sharingan Prodigy, Master of Shuriken Jutsu, Base Water Affinity, and Secondary Fire Affinity. Now Master of all elements, Genjutsu skills are far superior than most of his clan, and good with Kenjutsu. Also was a former Anbu captain. Jiraiya, is Itachi still in your spy network?" Jiraiya nodded. "Good. I want him to take control of Suna for the time being. He is the only one that I trust in your network to not betray the leaf. He has my respect." With that, Jiraiya was gone, getting ready to send out his orders with Sasuke. He was now changing shifts with Neji so he could get some rest. The Mizukage tried to goad him into more menstruations, but he turned a blind eye to it. It was dark, but the sound of wings flapping caught his attention as he saw a crow. It circled above him before dropping a scroll to his feet and poofing away. Sasuke undid the scroll and read its contents as his eyes morphed and became the Mangekyo Sharingan. He made a clone as it went off. Sasuke himself vanished in a sunshin, making his way to Itachi, leaving the Mist Village. Sasuke's clone knocked on the door of Yujeo as she answered. Immediately she knew it was a clone, but thought nothing of it as she let him in. She didn't get to speak. Sasuke beat her to it. "How strong is Itachi when he's serious? You were close to him at one point, so you're the best to ask." Yujeo thought for a moment before answering. "When he was a rookie in Anbu, he was able to go toe-to-toe with Kakashi Senpai. Now, however, he could easily be around Kage level. He's a prodigy in almost all shinobi areas, and he always has a level head. Why do you ask?" Yujeo started to get a bad feeling when Sasuke didn't answer. He only clenched his fist. "How strong do you think I am?" Yujeo blinked. "I can't give an accurate estimate on that, since you've always had restrictions on you, but what I've seen so far, you're about mid-jonin at least. At best, I'd probably say you're Hanbu level, maybe even Sanlin, but you always never went all out. Now I ask again, why are you asking?" Sasuke turned to her. "The real me just left to go and find Itachi. It's time for us to fight and me to avenge my clan." With that, he poofed away as Yujeo cursed. He just made her job a fucking pain. Now she had to go and inform Danzo and the Mizukage. What he just did could be taken as an act of war against the Mist. He was here to act as a guard, but he just left. Danzo is not going to be happy at all. Meanwhile, Naruto came gliding down as he landed in a roll. He quickly flicked a kunai as it embedded into the head of a stone shinobi on border patrol. "I wasn't expecting to run into them this soon, but if there are more, then the next part of my plan will be easy." Naruto quickly hid the body and moved off a lot slower than his previous speed. He was still a long way from the village hidden in the stone since he was only at the border of the land of Earth, but he still needed information. Naruto slowly crept through the trees, waiting and scouting. Naruto gave a smile behind his mask as he found a abandoned shack. It wasn't much at all. No bed, no kitchen. It only had 2 rooms, the main room and a bathroom. Naruto then heard Kurama scream in his head, "Brat, move!" Naruto ducked and jumped away. "You're not from here, and your mask holds no insignia. Who are you?" Naruto said nothing, only pulling out his tanto. The man in front of him wore all black cloak with a hood, and he had on a black mask. The man grinned under the mask and slid a straight katana from his cloak sleeve. Naruto was calm. He was confident in his ability. A few hours ago, his clone started to dispel, so he basically trained his abilities for 4 months straight, non-stop. He even added both of his elements to the Rasengan. He knew how to incapacitate someone without too much bodily harm. He perfected his fundamentals for his taijutsu style. Actually, it wasn't even his style. He just stole pieces from other styles and merged it into his own. His Fuinjutsu made progress, but not as much as he wanted. His chakra control and ninjutsu proficiency was almost on par with Shizune's. Altogether, he was now a beast that was not to be messed with. He was probably high joning at the very least, and approaching that of a Kage. Or maybe he was just being arrogant because he now has Kurama's power. Meanwhile, the hooded man felt uneasy standing before Naruto. He was way too calm. He considered himself to be at least B rank, maybe even A rank, but he wasn't feeling good about this. He quickly moved his hand and pulled out a whistle as he blew it, as it echoed throughout the land. Shit, was all Naruto could say. He had to move fast. This guy just called in for reinforcements. Naruto shot forward, but the man he teleported since he still had his weights off. Holstering his tanto, he pulled out a single senbon needle and slid it into the man's neck, missing his windpipe and vocal cords, but hitting the front of his brain stem, knocking him out. Naruto grabbed the man before vanishing, making it to the abandoned shack as he tied up his new prisoner. But guys, I'm gonna end it off right there. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe while you're at it. But without further ado, I'm out, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.